master recorder, and it can never forget. It records everything. So once it's recorded, what happens? The vibratory rate jumps up. Another recording, the vibratory rate jumps up. Another recording, the vibratory rate jumps up. Nothing ever comes out of that recorder. That recorder doesn't lose any information. So the vibratory rate can never go down. That seems kind of... Huh? The tape never erases. So every little increment of improvement, of increase in that vibratory rate, makes you that more, means you're that more solidly a more. That's what makes you different, is that your vibratory rate is so high, you cannot possibly think the way a slave thinks. It's destiny, it's your fate, that you could not stay there no matter what you did. You couldn't stay there. And of course now, with what you know, you can't go back. That's the dilemma with everyone who has come through our doors and heard that slightest bit of truth. Something got through. The vibratory rate was increased just a little bit, and even when they couldn't continue to get the information, they couldn't go back. They can't go back to being that state ward that they once were. They can't. They have a dilemma of trying to live with what little they know about sovereignty in a state ward fashion, because there's only one world. And more, as we grow and as we move in silence and exert our power, the more difficult it is going to be for anyone to live in a state ward status. And it's not our fault. It's a consequence of our growth. Something has to give. And what has to give and what is going to give is the state ward side. They're going to have to pay tribute to the Moors. The golden age. The true golden age. We have read in books that the golden age of the Moors has come and gone. I tell you that is not true. There was an age of the Moors where they lived in glorious times, and at that time, the Albion beast had not yet been created. We had not suffered under that chaos. We had not been exposed to that animal nature. We had not experienced the ripple effect of our actions. Now we have. In a way, we know more than our ancestors, because they did not have to live under such conditions. They were born in conditions of peace, and they lived all their lives in peace. They did not experience all of the trauma and drama that we experience today. They did not live in alabaster homes, right? They didn't have that. They didn't have to experience all of this epidemic of an epidemic of genocide. They did not have to experience that the way we have. They did not have to experience being locked up at the drop of a hat. We've had to experience all these things, and the master recorder is still clicking away of everything that has happened. Now, with the knowledge of all those things, we have the experience and the wisdom to move forward. We have the benefit of the glory of our ancestors. We have the benefit of being able to tap into that recorder and say, hey, ancestors, how did you do this? How did you do that? And couple what they knew and what they were able to do with what we are now dealing with today, and create the true golden age of the Moors. It's going to happen through us. And it is happening through us. We are witnesses to everything that we see in the media today with all of the chaos that's going on out there. What is going to happen when we finally put money back on the table? And everybody, all the nation states in the world have been dealing with credit and fraud. What happens when the truth shows up? When truth walks in the room. But there's going to be chaos first. Expect that.
But that's the same way that you take integrity in the dark room.
Yes.
darkness vanishes.
Yes.
So truth coming in, falsehood would vanish. But it would have to be in order for us to rise so high.
That's true.
It was something like a initiation period, I would say, just in my own words.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that we needed to go through to experience, so that now this is on record, that we have the experience and this will never happen again. And that's what makes it so golden, because eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what we're going to bring into existence.
Right. Well, one of the other things, and you're right, they haven't, but they soon will. And one of the other things is that all of you know that animals have a pattern. Animals have their own system in their lives. They have a system, a sense of family. Who is the prey, or what is the prey? And they uniformly go after the prey. And they uniformly work together and live together in their respective communities, right? Here you have a beast that has no rules. There's always exceptions to their rules. Everywhere across the board, there's exceptions to the rules. That's not even like your typical animal. It's deviant animal behavior. Conniving. It's deviant animal behavior.
I don't know what's in this word, right? But the beast doesn't have a inner Makara.
Have a what?
An inner Makara. An inner Makara. In other words, like us. Like the way we are, we have something built in us that won't allow us to do the deviant things that they have, because they don't have it in us. It's like a government.
Well, I wouldn't say that, you see, because it was Moors who first deviated and started having sex with animals. Oh, yeah?
But they went away from their role.
Right, but they knew, you see, and that's the difference.
That's a double win.
That's a double win. What happened with this? There's two folks. There's the Moors who said, no, now that they're there, we won't teach them. We won't civilize them. There were the others that said, you know what? We're going to kill all of them. And that's how they felt. They're here. Well, that's too bad. We'd rather reap the karma over killing all of them than reap the karma over allowing them to live and teach them. So, somebody had to win. And of course, the ones who wanted to kill them all lost. The ones who said protect them and all that, and the movie From Hell, well, Jack the Ripper showed it so well. I recommend you see that movie. Yeah, it shows it very well how the Moors even financed the experiment for them to continue. Okay? So therefore, you have all these birds, and all of these birds were actually in hospitals, and then in those hospitals, they were conducting more and more experiments, and then Moors raised money for more experiments. So they were really pushing the envelope, and knowingly pushing the envelope. So what you're saying about this difference between the two is that you have Moors who made the conscious choice to jump, boom, on the bad side, on the dark side, like the Jedi. Yeah.
I guess during that time, during our ancestral time, their vibratory was higher than ours now.
Yes.
Which I can say that they were closer to communicating with their ancestors and the Elohims.
Yes.
Well, it's hard for me to understand why they would not communicate with the Elohims to say, are we doing this, or what we're doing, a good thing or a bad thing? You know,
well, in my mind, the saying goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Exactly.
When you have no accountability for your actions, and you do a little bit of corruption, you say, oh, well, I got to wait that. Then if you wanted to do it again, you have the power to do it again, still with no accountability. And I take this